After being reincarnated to another world, the boy attracts two beautiful girls to be his fiancées, but he is not satisfied, and hires many cute maids to work for him. With the knowledge from his previous life, he creates many things on Earth. These ordinary things are treasures in another world, and soon the boy becomes the perfect designer in this world. Now, let's start today's recap to see his extraordinary life. In the previous episodes, we know that Kane saved Telestia and Silk, so the king granted him a title and a mansion as a reward. On this day, Kane is given the key to the mansion and is ready to take over it. When Kane comes to the mansion according to the map, he finds that the mansion is completely abandoned because it is too old. Although the mansion is huge, it is almost dirty everywhere. Luckily, Kane can easily change all that with magic. He casts magic to repair the broken parts of the mansion and clear all the dirt. Now the mansion looks like a brand new one. Kane also hires a butler and a group of lovely maids who heard of Kane's reputation and admire him very much. They were supposed to clean the mansion today, but Kane has already done it with magic. After this, Kane's family also comes to visit Kane's mansion. They are surprised to find that Kane's mansion has become clean and tidy in a very short time. However, Kane's father thinks that the mansion, although very neat, lacks decorations. So Kane takes out a stuffed huge dragon as a decoration, which frightens the maids. Kane's father feels very surprised because huge dragons are very powerful monsters that usually can only be killed by the army of a country. In addition to the decorations, there are some unique designs in Kane's mansion. Kane applies water magic to his toilet, giving it a cleaning function. This is the first time Kane's family has experienced this function, and they all think it is great. After that, Kane's father reminds Kane that he has to invite other nobles to the mansion. In accordance with etiquette, Kane's butler quickly prepares the guest list and the list of supplies. After reading it, Kane discovers that the king's name isn't on the guest list. It turns out that Kane is only a baron, and if he wants to invite the king, he has to become a duke at least. In addition, Kane needs to prepare gifts for each guest. He discovers that there is no glassware in this world, so he casts magic to make beautiful glassware as gifts. Besides, Kane teaches the chef to make a steak, a common dish in Japan. He also makes sparkling wine by making the wine carbonated. After that, the king summons Kane, asking him why he didn't invite him. Kane can only explain and apologize, and then formally invites the king. Soon after, Kane hosts a banquet to entertain guests. When the guests enter the mansion, they are immediately shocked by the stuffed dragon, which they think is probably the most perfect stuffed dragon in the world. After the banquet begins, the guests are also surprised by the sparkling wine. They have never tasted this wine, nor have they ever seen such good-looking glassware. When Kane announces that the glassware will be given as a gift to all guests, they are pleasantly surprised. When the king arrives at the banquet, he is also surprised by the sparkling wine and the glassware that he has never seen before. After tasting the steak, he likes it very much, and praises Kane's banquet in public. After the guests go to the toilet, they are amazed by the washing function of the toilet. After the king uses the toilet, he immediately asks Kane to add a cleaning function to all the toilets in the palace. All the guests enjoy the banquet, and they are all cheering for Kane. Just then, a marquis hostile to Kane also comes to the banquet. His manners are appalling, and the other guests hate him. The marquis tastes sparkling wine and steak, which he thinks are very delicious, but he deliberately says that they taste bad. Kane does not want to clash with the marquis, so he endures the marquis' rudeness. However, Kane knows that one of the guests can punish the marquis. By the time he connives at the marquis's impudence, the king has already come near. The marquis does not expect that the king will attend a baron's banquet, so he keeps behaving rudely. When he sees the king, he immediately kneels down to apologize for his rudeness, and flees the mansion. The clever boy Kane takes advantage of the king's dignity and makes the marquis pay for his impudence. After the banquet, Kane is invited to attend the knights' training session by the royal knights. He gives the knights many monsters' dead bodies, which are very precious forging materials, as gifts. Seeing the dead bodies of the monsters, the vice captain feels very surprised, because these monsters are so powerful that only the army can defeat them. The vice captain thinks Kane is very powerful, so he proposes that Kane stay and guide the training of the royal knights. He also says that the captain of the royal knights likes the strong the most, hoping that Kane can meet the captain. After that, Kane starts to train the royal knights. Someone in the knights thinks Kane is just a child and worries that he will hurt Kane accidentally. Knowing this, the vice captain asks this person to train with Kane one-on-one. However, Kane defeats him in an instant. Everyone witnesses Kane's real strength, and they no longer doubt him. Later, the knights begin their training under Kane's guidance. At this time, a beautiful elven girl suddenly stops them. The beautiful girl also thinks that Kane is a child and worries that he will get hurt. So the vice captain tells her that Kane is the new baron who has defeated the monster alone and saved the princess. Hearing this, the elven girl instantly becomes very excited and offers to fight Kane. The vice captain tells Kane that the beautiful girl is the captain of the royal knights, Tiffana. Tefana is very powerful and is called Master Swordsperson. With only a wooden sword, Kane fights Tefana. In the beginning, Kane and Tefana fight to a draw, but later in the fight, Kane shows his real strength and eventually wins. Tefana is shocked by Kane's strength. After the duel, she unexpectedly proposes to Kane, making Kane very shy. Kane doesn't agree immediately, telling Tefana that he must gain his father's and the king's permission first. So Tefana heads to meet Kane's father and the king. Both the king and Kane's father are surprised to hear that Tefana wants to marry Kane. They ask Kane why Tefana wants to marry him. Kane immediately explains that it is because he defeated Tefana. The king tells Kane that the first king of the kingdom was friendly to the elves, so the elves join the kingdom. Tefana comes from the elven kingdom, named the Leeward Territory, and she is not only the captain of the royal knights, but also the princess of the Leeward Territory. Later, the king reminds Tefana that Kane has already been engaged to Telestia and Silk. When Tefana learns of this, she not only does not mind but also has a stronger desire to marry Kane because she thinks that Kane has been approved by the king and nobles. Next, as long as Tefana can get her father's approval, she can get engaged to Kane. Tefana falls in love with Kane because Kane defeated her, but a question soon appears in the king's mind. Tefana is the strongest knight in the kingdom, while Kane is just a little boy. How could he defeat Tefana? The king begins to suspect that Kane may be the legendary hero. So he orders the minister to bring an ancient royal magic book that can test Kane's true identity. A few days later, the vice captain again invites Kane to meet the king, who then hands the book to Kane and asks him to read it. This magic book is a treasure left by the first king, and it records very powerful magic, so Kane is very excited. Kane's expression reveals his true identity. It turns out that the book is written in Japanese, and no one except the first king could understand it. Now Kane can understand it, which proves that he, like the first king, is a hero in the legend. Kane then realizes that the first king, like him, came from Earth. After Kane's secret is discovered by the king, he has to tell the truth about himself. He tells others that his soul comes from another world and that he saw gods before. After that, he shows them his status. Everyone is shocked by Kane's exaggerated status, which is so powerful that makes him not like a human but a god. Kane knows that once his identity is revealed, he will be worshipped as a god, but that's not what Kane wants. Instead, he only wants to live an ordinary and happy life like now. So several people who learn the secret promise that they will keep it a secret. Immediately after, Tefana arrives in the room and tells Kane that her father has approved her marriage to Kane. In this way, Kane has another fiancé, and he will embark on a new adventure with his harem. That brings the end of episodes 5 and 6. Kane meets another beautiful girl Tefana and makes her a member of his harem. Tefana is much older than Kane, but as an elf, she lives longer than humans, so even if Kane grows up, she won't get old. I believe in the subsequent plots, Kane will meet more beautiful girls and attracts more girls to his harem. Now I am looking forward to the new episodes. If you like this anime just like me, please like and subscribe. If you want to see the next part of this anime, comment below to tell me. See you in my next video.